All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Nicole, and welcome back to our English lesson. For today's session, as you can see from our slide here, we are going to focus on something absolutely crucial for your IELTS speaking success, which is on pronunciation. Now, we often talk about vocabulary and grammar, but pronunciation is just as vital. It's how you make sure the examiner understands every brilliant idea, every carefully chosen word, and every accurate, sentence you produce. Without clear pronunciation, even the best English might not get the score it deserves. So for the next hour, we are going to dive deep into key pronunciation tips specifically designed for the IELTS speaking section. We will cover not just individual sounds, but also how you link words together. And these are all the elements that the IELTS examiner is listening for when they assess your pronunciation score. My goal today is to give you practical strategies and specific exercises that you can start using immediately to make your spoken English clearer, more natural, and ultimately more impressive to the examiner. So, are you ready to get started? Because we will begin right away. We'll start with this. Okay. So, you have heard me say that pronunciation is crucial, but let's look at why that is and why it's I clearly shows pronunciation counts for 25% of your IELTS speaking score. That's a significant portion. It's one quarter of your total score for the speaking section. So if you're aiming for a band 7 or maybe band 8 or a higher, neglecting pronunciation could seriously hold you back, even if your grammar and vocabulary are excellent. Now, though that's certainly part of it, the examiner is listening for a range of features that contribute to overall clarity and naturalness. So they'll be paying attention to first, word and sentence stress. Are you emphasizing the correct syllable in a word? And are you putting the emphasis on the most important words in a sentence to make your meaning clear? So we will practice this today. Rhythm and intonation. Does your speech have a natural flow? Does your voice rise and fall appropriately to show questions shows understand? Third, accurate sounds like vowels and consonants. So this is what most people think of first when they hear pronunciation. Are you forming the individual sounds of English correctly? For example, distinguishing between words sheep and look for, no, your examiner will look for natural fluency and connected speech. So this means how smoothly your words flow together. Do you sound choppy or do your words link together naturally? As we discussed, pronunciation is a broad area. It's not just about sounding like a specific accent. It's about being consistently clear and easy to understand, making the examiner's job easier and reflecting a higher level of spoken English proficiency. All right. So, we have established why pronunciation is important, and now we're going to dive into this first specific area of pronunciation that makes a huge difference. Word stress. Syllable in a word. So, think of it like this. When you say a word with more than one syllable, one of those syllables stands out. It's the one you hit a little harder, you hold it a little longer, and pronounce more distinctly than the others. So, for example, if I say the word photograph, I'll say photograph. Again, photograph. The pho, which is the first syllable, is the stressed syllable. But if I say photography, photography, second syllable to is the stressed syllable. So there is a difference. Now this might seem like a small detail, but it is incredibly important. So the slide highlights that incorrect stress can confuse listeners or lower your score. So if you put the stress on the wrong syllable, Even if you make all the individual sounds correctly, the word can become very difficult for a native speaker or your examiner to understand. Maybe it may even sound like a completely different word. So, this leads us to a common mistake. Learners often stress the wrong syllable, which can make words hard to understand, even if the pronunciation of individual sounds is correct. So, we see this a lot. You might pronounce every letter T and K and L, the sounds of those letters perfectly. But if your stress is off, the word just doesn't sound right to the native ear. So you can think about the word present, that kind. If you say it's a gift, it's a noun. But if you say present, it's to give something, that's a verb. Stressed is on the second syllable, so the meaning completely changes just by shifting the stress. Okay? That's why this is really important. Say, for example, here, we understand what word stress is, right? So let's look at some very common examples where learners often make mistakes here. Correct? We try to correct word stress. So this table on the slide is a fantastic way because it shows us the correct stress, the common error you might hear, and then the simple meaning to make sure we are all on the same page. Development. The correct stress is on the second syllable vowel. So you will often hear learners say development, develop, development, where they stress on the first syllable, but remember it's development, development. This word is crucial in many IELTS answers, talking about economic development, personal development, or urban development. Next, we have photography. Again, photography. This is a great example of how stress can shift. The correct stress is on the second syllable, tug. So that's a common error. They put the stress where it is in photograph. So, but for this graphy, the ending is graphy, right? The stress here shifts with that. So listen again. This is photography, photography. Then, of course, a word very relevant to our current topic, pronunciation. The correct stress is on the C syllable, which is the third syllable. So, pronunciation. Again, pronunciation. Many learners incorrectly stress noun, saying pronunciation, which is, of course, not correct. So, you get this one right, it makes a huge difference. Pronunciation. Again, pronunciation. Moving to the word comfortable. This is a common adjective. The stress is on the first syllable, comf. So comfortable. Again, comfortable. But often I hear students say comfortable. Ta on the third syllable here. They try to say comfortable, comfortable, comfortable. So something like that. Comfortable is key. So comfortable. And a very important word for many of you, university. The correct stress here is on the third syllable, university. Again, university. A common error is university, where they stress on the first syllable, so they say university. But no, it's university, university. Finally, certificate. It is similar to university. The correct stress is on the third syllable. No, the second syllable, TIF. So, all right. Hello. Are am I audible in your end? Okay. I think everything's good. Was I heard earlier? Okay, I checked. All right, I checked the video, and then maybe I'm just gonna explain again certificate as fast as I can because it get cut off. I'm so sorry for that. So yeah, we have the last word, which is certificate. This is similar to university, as I mentioned earlier, where the stressed syllable is on the second syllable, TIF. So we say certificate. Again, certificate. Now here, the students, they some English learners, they may mistakenly put the emphasis on the first syllable, sir. So they say certificate. Again, certificate. No, certificate. Certificate. So, but it is certificate. Certificate, not certificate. Okay, certificate. So that is the last word. As you can see, misplacing the stress on these words can really make them sound familiar, or sound unfamiliar. I'm sorry, sound unfamiliar, even if the individual sounds are correct. So what I want you to do now is try to repeat the words again after me. As I read it, not after me, but as I read it, you also try to read it in your own comfortable spaces there. Okay? All right. Starting with the first one, development. Development, vel, the correct stress. Photography. Photography, second syllable stressed. Pronunciation. Pronunciation, third syllable stressed. Comfortable. Comfortable, first syllable. University. University, third syllable. And certificate. Certificate, second syllable. Excellent work and word stress, everyone. Now that we have mastered how to stress individuals' words, let's zoom out and look at how this applies to full sentences. So this brings us to section 2, sentence stress. Now this is incredibly important for sounding natural and clear in your IELTS speaking test. As the slide says, in English, we stress important words, what we call content words, and we weaken less important words, which are often the grammar words or the function words. So think of it like, music. Some notes are stronger and stand out, while others are lighter and connect them. That's how English works. The strategic use of stress isn't just about sounding native, it helps with rhythm, with clarity and fluency in ideas. So let's break down these two type of words again. Where I've already talked about this one, but yeah, I'm just gonna break this down as detailed as I can, so that we are really very familiar with this, because understanding them is key to sentence stress. First is content words. So these are the information carrying words because they are usually longer and louder, often with a higher pitch. So these are words that tell us who, what, nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs. So nouns are those, names. Main verbs are those action words. Adjectives are those describing words. Adverbs are those words that describe verbs or adjectives. So here, on the other hand, we have grammar words. These are the glue of the sentence. They are essential for grammatical correctness, but they don't carry the main meaning. And the preposition in, on, at, for, with, of, something of that sort. Have, has, had. It can also include modal verbs like can, will, should, might. So, how do you call that? Not explicitly, but like they are also included. Those that, how do you call that? Those that replace nouns for we. Those are the pronouns. Now, I'm gonna try to delve deeper on this for better understanding, so that I can see that I am assured that there is a solidified understanding within you about the differences between content words and grammar words. So here, content words are more stress. Remember those words that carry the most meaning in the sentence. And that's why we make them longer, louder, and clearer. So let's break it down by category. First, we have nouns. These are our people, our places, our things, our ideas. So look at the example. I went to the park yesterday. Here, the word park, I forgot to highlight it, this one. Sorry. Yeah, that one. Park here is the noun. It's the important piece of information about where I went. So I'm not stressing on I or went or to as much. It's the park that gets the emphasis because it's the new or key information. So I went to the park yesterday. Next, main verbs. These are the actions, action words or states of being. Say, for example, she enjoys. I forget to highlight the, you know, content words here, but yeah, let's try to highlight it all the way we are, while we are having this discussion. Okay, so here the main verb enjoys is stressed because it tells us the core action, you know, and new, which is an adjective, and languages, which is a noun, are also stressed because they tell us what she enjoys learning. So the emphasis is on the action and the type of languages. So one sentence can have one or more, which of the word is describing beautiful. But there's another content word, which is a noun. This is also a stressed part of the sentence. So we are emphasizing the positive feeling about a day. And finally, adverbs. These describe verbs, adjectives, or even other adverbs. So, say for walks. So, it receives the main stress because it gives us the key information about the manner of walking. All right. With articles, I've mentioned a and the. Those are articles. Um, these are again, the grammar words are, these are the words that receive less stress. Okay, more of like a supporting cast. If we try to compare it with a, if we try to look at it in that way, in that lens, grammar words are the supporting cast, while content words are the stars of the sentence. So grammar words is just as important to content words. Okay. So these are the words that receive less stress. Why less stress? Because, and as an option, it should be part of the sentence. Not all, but at least most of them should be part of the sentence. But they don't carry the main meaning, of course, because they are in content words. They are often shorter, quieter, and can even have their vowel sounds reduced, sometimes sounding like a quick sound, which is a schwa sound, and this is absolutely normal and natural in English, especially in conversational English. Let's look at the examples. First, articles. And the. The weather is nice today. Again, the weather is nice today. So notice how the word the, which is on the first sentence, that one, that is very quick and stressed. You wouldn't typically say, the weather is nice today. Okay, you do not try to stress that word because it will sound so unnatural unless you're trying to make a very specific point. But yeah, in natural speech, it's just the weather. The weather is nice today. The stress is on the weather, nice, and of course today. Those are content words. The weather is nice today. Next, auxiliary verbs. These are our helping verbs like be, do, have, can, will. To, should, something like that. So she is an example of this is she is studying for her exams. Here, the word is an auxiliary verb. It's often stressed and might even be contracted to she's, contracted apostrophe s. The main action is studying, and I'm sorry, I highlighted the wrong part of the sentence, but yeah, what I'm referring to is is. All right. So the important noun is exams. Those get the stress because those are content. That is a content word. You wouldn't normally say She is studying. Okay, she is studying. In, on, and at, for, with, and many more. So, for example, the book is on the table. So, on is a preposition. It's a small word and it's quickly passed over. The emphasis is on the book and the table. So, we link the sounds together. Book is on the table. So, we say the book is on the table. Again, the book is on the table. Next to this is conjunctions. These are our connecting words like and, but, or or. Say, for example, I like tea and coffee. The word and here is almost always unstressed and often reduced to just a nasal n sound. Tea, tea, and coffee. Tea and coffee. So we focus on tea have pronouns I, you, he, she, it, we, they, and many more. So say for example, he went to the shop. So he is the example pronoun here. It is unstressed. We want to emphasize where he went. However, notice the important note, unless emphasized for contrast. Okay? Unless emphasized for contrast. So if I say he went to the shop, not her, then he gets the stress because I'm making a specific point about who. But in general, they are weak. They are less stressed. Okay? All right. So by letting these grammar words be less prominent, your English will sound much more natural. So your rhythm will, kind of improve. And the examiner will easily pick up on the important information you are conveying. Okay? All right, so I'll help you hear and feel the difference in stress. Our first example sentence is, I love to read interesting books. Which ones are thicker, not thicker, but quicker and softer. I love to read interesting books. I love to read interesting books. Again, I love to read interesting books. Now let's try to break down why certain words are stressed here. The stress content words in this sentence are love, which is our main verb. It tells us the core feeling of the action. Read, it's another main verb. It tells us what specific activity we are doing or I am doing. Interesting, it is an adjective. It describes the type of books, making it important. And of course, books, which is a noun, it's the object of the action, the specific thing being read. Okay? These are the words that carry the primary meaning. They tell you what the speaker likes to do and what kind of things they like to read. On the other hand, the unstressed grammar words are I, which is a pronoun, and to, which is a preposition. Notice how quickly and softly I say I and to in the sentence I've mentioned earlier. They are here for grammatical structure only, but they don't convey the main information. You barely hear them compared to love or books. So if you were to stress I, it would imply I as opposed to someone else. But that's not the default meaning here. Okay? It's not common. So you say, I love to read interesting books. So when you are speaking in your IELTS test, think about what you want, saying the sentence a few times yourself. Try to push the stressed words out and let the others be softer and quicker. Another sentence we have here, when we try to explain a reference, she wants to travel around the world. She wants to travel around the world. Again, listen carefully as I say the sentence. Pay attention to the words that stand out and those that are said more softly. She wants to travel around the world. She wants to travel around the world. So the stress content words here are wants, which is our main verb. It tells us a core desire or preference. Travel, which is also another main verb. It tells us a specific action desired. Around, which is also acts and content word, it acts as an adverb or part of the prepositional phrase of place. It's crucial for understanding where she wants to travel. World, it is a noun, of course, the specific destination, the object of her desire. So these words are what convey the essential information, what she desires and what she, what or where she wants to go. So they get the emphasis. All right. Now for the unstressed grammar words, she, which is a pronoun, to, which is a preposition, part of the infinitive to travel, and the, which is an article of voice to each sound. Notice how she, to, and the are all said very quickly and lightly. When I try to say the sentence, she wants to travel around the world. She wants to travel around the world. So they are grammatically necessary but don't carry the main meaning. If you were to emphasize she, it would suggest contrast. She wants to travel with someone else, but in a typical statement of preference, she isn't stressed. So just like in the first example, the content words are emphasized to highlight the main message, while the grammar words are softened and shortened. So this creates that natural English rhythm. I encourage you to practice saying the sentence as many times as you can. Okay? Focus on making those stressed words pop out and letting the grammar words fade into the background. That's just basically it. Okay? For section 2. All right. So, we've covered individual word stress and how words are stressed within sentences. Now let's move on to section 3, linking. This is a really important area that can significantly improve your fluency and make your speech sound more, much more natural, like a native speaker. So what is linking? Simply put, it's about connecting the final sound of one word to the beginning sound of the next. Okay? So when we speak naturally, we don't say every word separately with a pause in between. We flow from one word to the next. So this is what makes speech smooth and natural. If you don't like if you don't like or if you don't link words, your speech can sound very choppy and robotic, even if your individual sounds are correct or perfect. Okay? All right. So we have here below the text, we have a table. Can you see it well? First type is consonant plus vowel. This is one of the most common types. It happens when a word ends with a consonant sound and the next word starts with a vowel sound. So the consonant simply jumps to the next word. Okay? All right. Think of the example here. Turn on. Turn on. When spoken naturally, it often sounds like turn on. Turn on. Okay? Turn on. Like that one. Turn on. So the N sound from turn connects directly to the sound of on. Okay? So turn on. Same consonant also is don't say the sound twice. We just hold it slightly longer. For big game, which has both consonant sound for last and initial. But yeah, it doesn't sound like big game. Okay? It sounds more like big game. Big game. Okay? Big game. Whether the G sound is slightly extended. So that's on. Same consonant. We also have R linking or intrusive R. This is a bit more specific when a word ends in the written letter R, like in far, or sometimes a vowel sound, like in idea or comma, and the next word starts with a vowel. We often link with an R sound. Okay? So far away becomes far away. Far away becomes far away. Okay? So that R sound acts as a bridge. This is similar to letter R linking, but it involves inserting a W or J sound between vowels. Where is it? So that is R linking. All right. So this is a bit more specific, as I've mentioned, when a word ends with a written letter R, like in for, the vowel sound that comes after it, it's sometimes connected. Okay? The next word starts with a vowel. We often linked with an R sound. All right. So here, how do you call that? Let's move on to intrusion. Okay, intrusion. This is a bit more specific when a word ends with an R sound. All right. Like far away becomes far away, like a one word. The Y sounds act as a bridge. So this is similar to R linking, but involving inserting a W or J sound between them, even if there's no. Sorry for that. So that is it. All right. Another example would be go on. It often sounds like go on with W in the middle. So that sound is an example of intrusion. It intrudes to connect the two vowel sounds. Okay. All right. Now let's look at some IELTS examples that are very common in spoken English, and you will hear how these linking phenomena occur. Yeah, it's on the same slide. I'm sorry. Sorry for that. First is a lot of people. A lot of people. When said quickly, it sounds like a lot of people. Now the T in lot links to the schwa sound, a sound in of, and a lot of to become lotta, and then the teeth links a lot of people. Okay, it's common. Or links to the schwa sound here on transparent one. So you know you try to link those things. So this is you and I. Another is pick it up. Pick it up. The key in pick links to the I or E, short E in it, and the T in it links to the in up. More commonly, the T in T becomes a flopter sound. Pick it up. Okay, so the main point here is that linking helps your speech sound less broken and more like a continuous stream of sound. So this significantly contributes to your fluency and coherence score, as well as your pronunciation score. Okay? Right. Sorry for that. So, where am I? Linking really helps your speech, okay? But it should be less broken and more like a continuous stream of sound. This contribute to the fluency and coherence score, as well as your pronunciation score. So don't try to force these, but start listening for them in native speech, and try to imitate them naturally. We'll do some exercises now to practice this. Okay, on to section 4. We've talked about word stress, sentence stress, and linking. Now let's bring all of that together with a concept called weak forms. Okay? You know how we discussed that grammar words are usually unstressed? Well, then they are unstressed. They often becomes reduced or unstressed versions of common grammar words. So this isn't laziness, it's a natural feature of people spoken or speaking English. Okay? All right, so think of it this way. When you speak English naturally, you are not putting equal effort into every single word. So the important content words get the emphasis here, and the less important grammar words are often shortened or weakened. So their vowel sounds might um, change, often becoming the very common schwa sound, or they might even disappear and see for it honestly. As I've been trying to find out. All right. So why do we do this? Because it helps maintain natural rhythm and fluent sounding speech. If actual choppy and even a bit more aggressive, it would be like playing or it will be like trying. Give you a quick example. Did I give it? Moment. All right. So this is an example. So I'm waiting for the bus if you want to emphasize it. But in natural connected speech, if I say this is for you, the for often becomes schwa sound. Understanding weak forms is key to both listening and So you do that, of course. Again, okay? We're going to look at some specific examples of how these work forms now so you can clearly hear and practice them. Okay? We have the first two. Two. I want to travel. I want to travel. I want to travel. Something like that. For. It's for me. It's for me. Show. One of. It is pronounced usually as with letter V sound. Of. Where am I? Yeah, the last one. Of. So this happens with many grammar words like of, to, and can, should, are, and so on. So understanding weak forms is key to both listening specific examples for how these works, you know, so you can clearly hear and practice them. Oh, I wasn't able to include, but yeah, you try to practice this one. The one I highlighted is the um weak form of the word. So it's a schwa sound usually. The schwa sound is the upside E symbol in IP transcription. Okay? Alright. Okay. Let's move on to intonation. I'm sorry. Oh no. Thank you for your patience, everyone. This is a slide I was hoping to show you. Intonation. Okay? Intonation. Um, where is it? Yeah, this one. The rise and fall of your voice. That's intonation. So we basically intonation is fundamentally the rise and the fall of your voice. Think of it as the melody of your speech. Just like the music has high notes and low notes, your voice goes up and down as you speak. It's not about singing but about the natural pitch changes that occur. So why is this important for out speaking? Because intonation shows emotion, it shows intent, and it helps hold the listener's attention. So without good intonation, your speech can sound flatly. Okay? Alright, so if I say I'm happy with a flat falling tone, I might sound like I'm not really happy, but my voice raised slightly and then falls, showing enthusiasm conveys genuine happiness, basically. So we use different intonation patterns for different purposes. First, we are going to talk about falling intonation, which typically indicates a statement, a command, or a WH question like what's your. Alright. So that's on following intonation statements with WH questions usually. Like for example, where are you from? So this is most common patterns for statements and for WH question like who, what, where, when, why, how. It signals a sense of completeness, certainty, or it's simply conveying information. So listen as I say, where are you from? Where are you from? My voice starts higher and then falls at the end. This is typically a way to ask an Mindanaoan question. Okay? It's similar for a statement like I really enjoyed that movie. Something like that. So that's on falling intonation. Next is rising intonation. So this pattern is primarily used for yes or no questions. It signals that you are asking a question that requires a yes or no answer. Or perhaps speaking or seeking information. Okay? So listen to the sentence. Do you like it? Do you like it? My voice goes up at the end, indicating that I'm asking for simple confirmation. It can also be used when listing items where your voice rises for each item until the last one, which might fall. Then fall, rise, intonation. This is more complex pattern where your voice falls and then rises. It's often used to convey uncertainty, politeness, and also, of course, hesitation or correction. Okay? All right. And lastly, we have rise, fall, intonation. So this pattern starts with a rise and then falls, and then falls,
typically used to express strong emotion, surprise, or excitement. It gives a sense of exclamation or strong feeling. So, for example, that's amazing. That's amazing. My voice goes up sharply on amaze and then falls on ing. So the conveying genuine enthusiasm is by that. That's great for expressing strong opinions or reactions. Okay, speaking. So that is on intonation. The last one is on intonation. I think. Yeah. So we've covered on word stress, on sentence word stress, which is making one syllable in a word stand out. We've also talked about sentence stress, where emphasizing content words and weakening grammar words is the focus. Also, linking or connected speech or linking speech, making our speech smooth and connected. And finally, intonation, the melody of our voice to show meaning and emotion. All right. So these are all the key points for key ideas for a clear, natural, and highly intelligible pronunciation in English. And remember, the examiner is listening for all of these elements. So, do you have any part of my discussion to be clarified? Do you want some clarifications? Mm-hmm. Okay, we are go back to weak forms for a moment. Okay, I'm gonna go back to weak forms. This one. All right. Let me try to in detail. So we try to focus on this, give more details about the table where it focuses on common weak forms. Weak forms is how we say it most of the time in connected natural speech. Okay? First is the word to. In its full form, it's to, with a long u sound. Like when you say to, like when you say too many. So that is long u vowel sound. Now, in its weak form, it becomes t, t, which are schwa sound, and we talked about that already. So listen to the example. I want to travel. You hardly hear the chuchu of me. Okay? All right. So I want to travel. You want to go abroad and achieve your dream. All right. Next is for. The full form is for. The weak form is fo. Again, fo. So that is for. The full form is for. With a clear R sound. And the weak form is for. It's, it's kind of scary for them. All right. Then there is an article. An example article is but there's and the. Okay. All right. So for it's at as a weak form. It's simply schwa sound, upside down e. But I've mentioned it's full from a. It's like reading the letter A. Focus as a weak form. It's a simplest example, as I say behind the glasses. Okay. Are we clear on that? Do you have any clarifications so far? Okay. I think everything's good. All right. Let's try to, listen very carefully related to the shameless. Um, Not shameless. It's a harsh word, but yeah. Auyita. Try to give something to the other people. Okay. So two. It is full form of ow. So when you say too many, it's the correct word. So the two is stressed syllable here. All right. The form has a schwa sound, of course. You can hear it. It's a quick, soft, and follows into the next word. So if you say, I want to go travel, it sounds exactly like that, okay? Next, for. The full form is for. The exam form is lethal. Also, it's full. No R sound also because that's where my things are organized. Okay? So, for example, let's try to listen to one example. Maybe I want you say I want to travel, I want to go to the beach, something like that. Okay? All right. Very good. Okay. So that is on the chismis about this one. All right. First is KRD. Okay? All right. Here first the word is to. Two. Its full form is two, like when you say too many, like when you say too many. But it's in when it's weak form. Sorry. In its weak form, for example, I want to travel, you hardly hear the O sound. It's quick, soft, and flows into the next word. So it's function word. It's grammatical function word. Okay? I want to travel, you hardly hear the O sound here. It's soft and flows into the next word. If you say I want to travel, it sounds less natural. Okay? Next is for. The full form is for. The weak form is fo. And then in its full form is lev sentence. Okay? All right. So this is its fame again. Again, the R sounds like often very light and the towel is reduced. So we say form in one. Okay? All right. All right. So that is on common weakness. Again, the full form for four is four. The weak form is full. It's foamy. It's foamy. Again, the R sound is often very lightly and the vowel is reduced. We say is short sound. But as a weak form, it's simply uh, uh, which is a short sound. Example, I saw a bird. So I saw a bird. I saw what? I saw it where? I saw something on those questions. Okay? Alright. So we say for me, not for me, with a strong for sound. Okay? Then the article here. Okay? Moving on to and, the full form is and, of course. But in its how do you call that? In its weak form, where is it? In its weak form, it's often reduced to just an or just the letter n alone. So the full form is what's the sentence again? Mm-hmm. Um, an example is and that one, the one you see in the screen, bread and butter. So and becomes reduced. It was reduced. It becomes stressed. So this is an example of that where there's a common weak forms of the sentences, which is usually a grammar words or function words. So that is bread and butter, bread and butter. Okay, bread and butter. Of. So for example, like a cup of tea, you can hear the O sound becomes a schwa, but cup of tea with a strong of sound. Cup of tea, cup of tea. Okay. These weak forms are absent language in our conversational Englishes. We try to do that. All right. Will sound a bit robotic, of course, and also sound natural and easy to understand. But when we try to do that, we time you speak that's on common weak forms, but to start listening for them in native English and then gradually incorporating them into your own speech. Okay? Okay. I think that's the last one. All right. So, this is the last meeting with us today. With that meeting with us on my time here. So, thank you for your all right. So it's about ensuring the examiner understands every word. It's about being clear and intelligible. So you should making it sound more natural. Okay? So that's a really important first step in improving your pronunciation. Aimed band. So there's many, but as much as we can, we try to aim on a higher band. Okay? Which where we are already fluent, controlled, expressive, natural rhythm, and intonation is also good. Okay? Are you generally mostly clear or do you find yourself unclear? So those are, I think, errors of sentence of no, not sentence, but of the whole discussion. Okay? All right. Are you generally mostly clear? Do you find yourself often unclear? Do you think your errors of meaning or they were minor? So you can think about it for a moment. This isn't about getting a perfect score today, but about understanding where you are and what you need to focus on the future aspects or practice. What's your current target band and what specific areas do you feel you need to work on most? Okay? You try to do that. So again, that is all for this session. Thank you for that honest self-assessment, everyone. For how would you honestly rate yourself depending on these different bands. So that's a really important first step in improving your pronunciation. Knowing your strengths and identifying areas for your development is key. So remember, mastering pronunciation for IELTS isn't just about eliminating your accent completely. It's about being clear and intelligible. Okay? Pronunciation is a skill that improves with consistent practice and conscious effort. So it might feel strange at first, but with time, these patterns will become natural. So keep practicing, keep listening, of course, and also keep speaking. You've made great progress today in understanding these crucial elements for IELTS pronunciation, everyone. That's already good in and of itself. So if you have any final questions, please ask now. Otherwise, thank you for your active participation today, and I look forward to hearing your improved pronunciation in our next speaking session. I'll open for maybe 10 seconds for any lingering questions. Do you have one? You can type it in our chat bot. I think none. So that's of the night. Goodbye and thank you. My name is Nicole once again. Good night.